Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode inside my December Doing It series. This is a series that I created. We're now in our third year as an opportunity to showcase some of the incredible, amazing women that I work with and their unique leadership traits and skills that they've developed over the years. And if you get the opportunity, definitely go to my YouTube channel, stacymayer.com/YouTube, where you can go back and look at all of my past interviews. And I always see this as such a fantastic opportunity towards the end of the year to add a little sprinkle of inspiration into your life, especially with whatever else might be going on for you at this time. So today's interview is with the fabulous Stefanie Gordish. Stefanie and I have been working together for the past couple of years. When I first met her, she was a vice president, and now she's a senior vice president. But more so than that, she has up-leveled her leadership skills. She has gained tremendous amounts of confidence in herself. She always had confidence in marketing and brand, as she'll share with us. But being able to really kind of own that executive leadership skill set, right? And really know what that is. So we're going to talk about some of her leadership style and secrets to success today. But before we do that, welcome, Stefanie. Introduce yourself. Tell us who you are.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you, Stacy. So happy to be here and to see all of you. I'm Stefanie. I am, as Stacy said, a senior vice president of corporate marketing at a company called Kinaxis. Kinaxis is based in Canada, and we sell software for the global supply chains and running your global supply chains. And I like to sort of joke that years ago, you would all look at me and hear supply chains and say, what the heck, that's so boring, go away. But today, supply chains are one of the most important topics and news items of the day. So happy to be here. Happy to talk with Stacy, one of my favorite people, and about one of my favorite topics, leadership. So thanks for having me.
Yeah. Well, I love what you're saying. The world does constantly change. And from a marketing and brand perspective, I'm sure you really get to see that firsthand. So I'm glad that you're there and able to help them, spread their mission as well.
Yes, absolutely.
So tell us a little bit more about your leadership style and secrets to success.
I love that question. My view on leadership style honestly has evolved over time. I think it's evolved with my career as well, because I think that it just wasn't something that I really understood or resonated with, even though I had been asked that question, as I'm sure we all have through every interview you do along the way. So it really took, I think, experience and getting really clear and observing myself. What is it that truly makes me unique and special? What makes Stefanie special, to really figure out what my leadership style was. So I've really come to and hone that with you, Stacy, to realize one of my real strengths is connecting with people. I really build relationships with people. I understand people. I have this ability, I think, to understand what motivates them and really help them spotlight those strengths. And then ultimately motivate them to do better. So what are their strengths? How am I connecting with them? And how do I help spotlight those strengths in the work that they do? Which is hard to do.
Oh my gosh, I love it. And some people are saying hi, hello. Please, if you're here listening, definitely say hi. Hi, Marie.
Hello.
And it's so great to see you. So I love that you highlighted this process of understanding your leadership style. And then we're going to go into how this idea of being a connector has led to your success. But I just want to kind of point this out a little bit, because when I did meet Stefanie, she was a leader, right? And so to ask a question, what's your leadership style? It's like leadership, right? Like it's just like, it is what it is. It doesn't matter. And even you pointed to, you might be asked that question in an interview, but you're not often asked that question at your job, right? And so when we can start to develop that and cultivate that idea of the connector, I love the 3 points of understanding people's strengths and really highlighting that and then bringing that out, then you can just communicate that without being asked. you don't have to be asked, hey, what's your leadership style? But as you're building your team, as you're communicating with your team,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll get into some more ways that your leadership style has supported you in your career. But I just really want to encourage everybody listening, if you don't already understand your leadership style, this is something to really think about and bring into 2024. Is
I
really,
agree.
what is that, define it, and how can you communicate it? So
And
thank
really
you. And
observing yourself, like I said, because
mhm,
you can jot down some notes, as I did the whole time. I was always writing, does this resonate with me? Does this resonate with me? But taking the time to just see how you show up in different experiences starts to really make it clear, what's important to you,
yeah.
where you show up the best, where you're most happy in your happy place
Mhm.
as a leader.
Totally, totally.
Yeah.
So then, okay, so then that's great for you. And then
Yeah.
how has that helped you in your career and helped you connect with other people on your team and in leadership?
Yeah, and I think my ability,
Mhm.
I think of two things with myself, is my ability to connect with people, and maybe because of that, my ability to build trust. I think trust is something I wish I would have had so early on in my career. I didn't have, and so I am with my team all through, all the good things, all the difficult things, and I think most importantly, what you're probably asking me, Stacy, is it's given me this ability to be able to have real, honest conversations when they're
Yeah.
difficult to do. I struggled a lot early on in my career, probably because I didn't want to hurt people's feelings with being direct and being candid. It was always coming from a good place. I just struggled to figure out how to be honest about some of those direct and difficult conversations, which we all have to have. I ultimately realized I am a genuine person coming with respect for any, the other person sitting on the other side of the table, and what they would like to hear from me is direct, real conversation. So that's how
Yeah,
it's helped me.
absolutely. Yeah, I think about this idea of, top down leadership, when we're like encouraging our leaders to
Mm,
be more direct, to be more outspoken, to have that difficult conversation. And what you're pointing to is, if that trust hasn't been built with your team and you
yeah,
haven't been able to really both understand their strengths and connect to them, then you're not going to be able to then come, like, say the difficult thing, right, that needs to be said, and have that directness. Like, there is a reason that that is difficult. So I'm so thankful that now you
yeah,
feel confident in that way and are able to do that.
absolutely.
That's
And it's
great.
sort of self, like, reinforcing, because more honesty builds more trust, builds more
Yes.
clarity, more
Yes,
success. So
even if
it's,
it's not
yeah,
always positive, right? Just that
yes,
honesty.
yes,
So good.
exactly.
Okay, so this just goes into my next question, which is, the thing that keeps coming up, and maybe this is because of my role as a coach, but the
Hmm.
thing that often comes up is challenging situations for people. So, as a
Mm.
leader, I'd love to hear from you. What are some of the ways that you have worked through difficult situations and continuing to cultivate this empathy and trust, but maybe said the hard things?
Yes. Funnily enough, I just had this conversation with someone really recently who was having her first difficult conversation with someone. And I told her a
Ah,
couple of things and some advice that I practice myself. One, this you are a leader and this is your responsibility. You're going to have difficult conversations and you're always going to have them. They're not going to get any easier, but you have to have them. It's part of your job as a leader. Two, trust yourself, kind of back to what I said earlier. Realize that you have genuine intentions on what you're trying to communicate, and do it respectfully. Be open and honest and clear in your communication, knowing that you're coming with the best intentions. And she reacted really, really well to that. I think particularly in the environment I work in, and I'm sure many of the same cultures and environments everyone here works in, they're high pace or fast pace and moving quickly, and clear, direct communication is a imperative.
right. This is also making me think of something else that is really important. So what you're hearing Stephanie do is really, first she had to articulate for herself how she solves
Mm,
these difficult problems. Now she's able to give back and then help and support her team members and other leaders because she knows very specifically her plan, like how she has gotten through and how she has created this candidness for herself. I want to offer up, before we get into our last question for today, a free tool, and perhaps Marie, you can help me out, because I was trying to find the URL for this free tool that I have here, and post in the comments, but I have a 30, 60, 90-day plan for your next role, right? And that's something that you and I worked on this year, because you actually started this role in 2023, is
Yep.
really, how do we set ourselves up for success in those first 30, 60, 90 days of our new role, not just in being good at our job, but also that future leadership success. So Marie, if you know what that link is, please put it into the comments. Otherwise, I'll come back and I'll add it in later so that you can download that free PDF. So let's get into our final but most important question: is why do you feel motivated to have a voice at the table?
I so appreciate this question. I have shared this with you before many times. It took me far too long to get to a place of comfort with myself in the workplace, to be able to bring my authentic, true self to the table, regardless. So I feel a responsibility to help others hopefully find that faster in their career, being open, honest, genuine, but having hard conversations, understanding what makes you special, where your leadership style is. All of those things really come together in a special way once you do the work to find them. And it took me far too long. So I'm here to, I have this conversation every day with people on my team about what's important and what not to lose sight of. And I feel a responsibility to help others with that too.
This is leadership, right? Because what she's not talking about is her expertise in marketing and brand, right? That is something that you cultivated for the first 20 years of your career, right? It's something that you know inside and out. And when asked a question, right, you know how to solve that problem. But being able to truly articulate your leadership is what helps that transition into
Yeah.
being, that ultimate level of success. One of the steps that you'll hear me talk a lot about is trusting in your leadership allows you to trust in yourself. And so Stefanie is a role model, and hopefully you're bringing that level of trust to say, hey, you can trust me. You can trust me to fail. You can trust me to be authentic. You can trust me, right? And it's that type of quality that you didn't have, it sounds like, earlier on in your career, that could have allowed you to shine, and now you get to reciprocate.
Yeah, yes. And it's a process, Stacy, right? I mean, that's the work you and I have done together over many years. And it's a process that I think you have to unlearn some things and relearn some things, because leadership is an entirely different ball game. It's not your expertise, like you said. So it
Yeah.
requires getting uncomfortable and being okay with being uncomfortable. And once you accept that and you can sort of sit with that, it opens up all kinds of new things. So
Well, thank you for being uncomfortable with us today, going
you're
live on
welcome.
LinkedIn, right? This is no small feat. I admire you so much. All of the women who are willing to come on and share with us their leadership, it is so powerful. Um, each of these women that you're meeting inside my December Doing It series are part of what I call my leadership table. This is the leadership table mastermind group that I have. And if that's something that you're interested in joining in 2024, I invite you to connect with me. You can DM me directly. And then also, just thank you, Stefanie, for not only showing up today, but for being that role model, for being that leader that we can trust, and for continuing to go for more, right? For continuing to say, hey, what kind of impact can I make today? And how can I show up to be an even better, bigger, stronger version of myself?
Yes,
So I'm
absolutely.
so
Thank you,
grateful for
Stacy.
you.
Thank you, everyone, for joining.
Thank you.